There are 5 kinds of runners, and the one you are says more about your psychology than your pace ever will. Not your speed, not your distance, not the shoes or the watch or the weekly mileage you quietly track. Those are just the surface. Underneath, every runner is out there for a reason, a specific psychological reason. And most people have never once stopped to figure out which one is actually theirs. This isn't a personality quiz. It isn't about which type is best. There is no best. It's about something more honest than that. Recognizing the real engine underneath your own running. The thing that gets you out the door on the mornings you don't want to. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which one you are. And you might realize you've been running as one type while telling yourself you're another. Let's start. Here's what most runners get wrong about themselves. They explain their running with the easy answer. It's good for me. It clears my head. It keeps me in shape. All true, all surface. None of it explains why running specifically, instead of 100 other things that would also be good for you. Because the real reason isn't physical, it's psychological. Something in your life created a need, and running is the shape that need took. 2 people can run the exact same route at the exact same pace and be doing 2 completely different things underneath. So as we go through these 5 types, don't look for the one that sounds impressive. Look for the one that feels a little too accurate. That flicker of, oh, that's actually me. That's the one. Type 1, the escaper. The escaper runs to get away. Not from people exactly, from a feeling. The pressure at work, the argument that won't resolve, the low hum of anxiety that follows them around all day. When they run, it finally goes quiet. The faster the day falls apart, the harder they run. Psychologists would recognize this as a form of emotional regulation, using an intense physical experience to manage internal states that feel unmanageable any other way. And here's the important part. It works. It genuinely works. The escaper isn't broken. Running is one of the healthiest coping tools a human being can have. There's a man named Daniel, 36, from Chicago, a restaurant manager whose entire job is absorbing other people's stress for 10 hours a night. He runs at midnight after his shift, and he says the first mile is where the day finally lets go of him. By the third, he can't even remember the specific thing that had his shoulders up around his ears. That's the escaper. Running not toward something, but out from under something. The road becomes the one place the pressure can't follow. The only thing the escaper has to watch, whether the run is releasing the feeling or just outrunning it. But we'll come back to that. Type 2, the seeker. The seeker runs to think. Some of their clearest ideas, hardest decisions, and most honest self-conversations happen somewhere around mile 3. They don't run to escape their mind. They run to finally hear it. This connects to something neuroscientists study called the default mode network, the brain system tied to self-reflection and insight. Running quiets the noisy, reactive part of the mind just enough that the deeper, slower thinking can surface. For the seeker, the run isn't exercise. It's a thinking chamber. There's a woman named Priya, 41, from Austin, a software architect who says she has never once solved a hard problem at her desk. She solves it at kilometer 5, every time. She keeps her phone handy not for music, but to capture the thing that always arrives when she stops trying to force it. If you've ever come home from a run with an answer you weren't even consciously looking for, the decision suddenly obvious, the words to a hard conversation just there, you might be a seeker. You didn't solve it by concentrating harder. You solved it by moving your body and letting your mind off its leash. Type 3, the monk. The monk runs for the silence itself. Not to escape a feeling, not to solve a problem, just to be fully, completely present. No destination in the mind, no mental to-do list, just breath, footfall, road. This is the closest thing running has to meditation, and it maps onto what psychologists call flow, a state of complete absorption where the self-critical inner voice simply switches off. The monk chases that stillness. A run without it feels like a wasted one. Take Thomas, 52, from Portland, a recently retired teacher who says his morning run is the only hour where his mind isn't anywhere but exactly where his feet are. He couldn't tell you his pace. He could tell you the exact quality of the light. Type 4. The competitor. The competitor runs to measure. Against the clock, against last week, against the person they used to be. Every run is a small verdict. Did I improve? Did I hold? Did I win the private contest no one else knows I'm running? Underneath this is mastery orientation, the deep human drive to build real, undeniable competence in something that can't be faked. Done well, it's one of the most satisfying forces in a person's life. The competitor isn't shallow. They've found a place where effort still produces a clear, honest result, which is rarer in adult life than it should be. Naomi, 29, from Denver, a project lead, describes the quiet thrill of watching a number drop that she earned entirely by herself. No committee, no approval, just her and the proof. Type 5. The Ritualist. The Ritualist runs to hold their life together. The run is the fixed point, the thing that stays constant when everything else is chaos. Same time, same route, same rhythm. If they miss it, the whole day feels subtly off its axis. This speaks to a need psychologists call psychological ownership and self-continuity, the sense of a stable thread running through all the versions of your life. For the Ritualist, the daily run is that thread. It says, whatever else changed, I'm still me. 58-year-old Robert from Boston has run the same 4-mile loop for 19 years, through a career change, a move, an empty house. He says the loop is the one thing that never left. But let's be honest about something. You probably saw yourself in more than one. That's normal. Most of us are a blend, with one type leading. But there's a version of this worth watching closely, and it's usually the escaper. There's a line between running that releases a feeling and running that only postpones it. Psychologists call the unhealthy side experiential avoidance, using even a good activity to keep from ever facing what's underneath. The healthy escaper comes home lighter and more able to deal with life. The stuck escaper comes home and needs to run again tomorrow, just to survive the same feeling they never actually turned to face. The difference isn't the running, it's what the running is standing in for. If your type is quietly serving you, grounding you, clearing you, building you, good. If it's become the only place you can breathe, that's not a running problem. That's a signal, and it's worth listening to gently. So, which one are you? The escaper, running out from under the weight. The seeker, running to hear yourself think. The monk, running for the silence. The competitor, running to earn the proof. The ritualist, running to stay whole. None of them is better than the others. They're just different needs wearing the same running shoes. And knowing yours changes something, because once you see the real reason you run, you stop apologizing for needing it. You stop calling it just a workout. You start protecting it like the thing it actually is. That's maybe what we don't say enough, that running was never really about running. It was about whatever each of us goes out there to find. So tell us, drop a comment below with your type: escaper, seeker, monk, competitor, or ritualist, and the moment you realized which one you really are. Read a few of the others while you're down there. You'll recognize people you know. We actually want to know. And if you're still not sure which one you are, stick around. That question is what this whole channel is for.